Hey guys, I just want to elaborate on my first video. Sorry I'm talking a little low and try to make them a little short. I just have people in the house and stuff. I don't want to bother them or have them listening and everything, but it is what it is. I guess at this point everybody's listening to me and watching to some degree. But I did want to elaborate a little bit. So back in, I guess, last February 2019, I really noticed things were a little out of control and weird. I realized it wasn't me. It was definitely gaslighting and things just weren't right. So I did go start seeing a therapist in about March or April. And I was seeing her, and she definitely confirmed I wasn't nuts. Little by little over those few months, things were just getting stranger and stranger. As I said, just going to the gas station, grocery store. A lot of things that a lot of us experience with the community. People just getting in your way and things that look fairly benign, but if you start adding them up, they certainly aren't. So little by little, I started to not want to go out so much and then stay home, things like that. And little by little, things started happening at the house. There's certain people coming by, certain cars, sounds, a lot of what everyone else describes as well. So as I was seeing that therapist, things were going along okay. We had some friends that I thought were friends kind of come into our life. I feel like this was a setup and part of what's going on and being slandered about. Little boy, he's nonverbal, he's autistic, and I feel like I was being set up. He was in the middle of potty training, stuff like that, and behavioral stuff. The kid didn't like wearing clothes. Sometimes that's a sensory issue with children with autism. And his mother would let him walk around naked, things like that. So his house was like our house, and I'm not going to upset a child. So sometimes, it's boring. We talk, whatever, on there. And this kid started showing signs of being maybe sexually abused or molested, possibly. Definitely not by me. And that was concerning. So I did start taking some video of that. And, as we were checking along those few months, still going to the therapist, still whatever, just trying to pretend I'm okay. Or things are okay, or in this weird world that we all are in as targeted individuals. And I definitely gave them ammunition. I do know that they can manipulate things on their own, but the videos and the pictures I had on my phone, I certainly made it very easy for them, because I do believe that's part of my slander. Well, I know it. They were forcefully putting me on Megan's Law, Kids Live, things like that. But one of the people that worked there told me there was probably a Photoshop, that it didn't appear that I was on there. My facial recognition, things like that, didn't hit a match. So, I've told some lies. I've done some stupid things in my life, but never in my wildest dreams would I ever hurt a child or a woman or anybody else or myself. So that was just interesting to me. So I definitely gave them some ammunition in that right. It kind of peaked in July. The little boy was actually even pushing my head to tell him to do things, and it was very strange. I've never really had anybody come on to me that strong, let alone a freaking 5-year-old little boy. So it was pretty disgusting, and it showed that kid was either coerced or, unfortunately, actually being abused, which both scenarios are very, very, very sad and troublesome to think of. I actually spoke to my therapist about this and decided to file a CPS report. I tried to remain as anonymous as I could because I did not want retaliation. The parents of this boy are involved in some activity that could cause me harm, and the circles they roll with, I knew that could be a possibility. After being really trying to remain anonymous, I don't think my report was taken very seriously, and that was in the end of July. About middle of August, I started seeing that this stuff was serious. On August 22nd or 21st, I had landscapers at my house. Things got really bad. I was very nervous, so I called the police. I ended up being tased, basically put on a pole hogtied, treated like a psychiatric patient. When I was worried people were trespassing on my property, I was treated like a criminal. It was very odd. There were pictures and stuff. I had AKs pointed at me, just nutty stuff. Hang on one second, I'm busy. And so things like that were going on, and it was just very disturbing. So after that happened, I decided not to go back home. We moved in with some friends, and I wish I could say things stopped there. Unfortunately, it didn't. Cars were passing by the house constantly. I installed security cameras that shouldn't have been logged onto Wi-Fi at all, and they were breached. Just a lot of stuff was going on. So I did start becoming isolated, staying home a lot, going out to my therapist meeting, maybe run up to the store, things like that. But I really wasn't going out or doing anything much because I was worried. So I trucked along for a few months. Then in November, so I did hire that PI in September. She did throw me some crumbs. She told me that they did see that my phone was cloned, that there were devices being, that I was being tracked or monitored. She also let me know some of the license plates. Well, one seemed to be another PI from back home where I was originally from. She also said that she had found some gig reports about flashing lights into people's houses in the town I was living in. And she advised me, since it was getting worse, to probably leave, that I should get out of here. And I did. When I started to communicate with her again, I didn't feel like the communication was as solid. So I'm not sure if the stalkers got to her or what, or I don't really want to even go down that avenue. But I do know basically the investigation kind of stopped after that. I would send her some messages and she would reassure me that she knew nothing of what was going on, but it just remained very arm's length, I suppose. So I kept going to my therapist. I noticed I'd be followed. The street theater would start, all that stuff. So when we left in November, I went a couple states away, and it seemed to have followed me, but not nearly as intense. I felt comfortable to go to the beach or the grocery store, things like that. Even though I did see some stuff that was skeptical to me, I made it my priority to do so, try, and I felt comfortable. Then we went kind of halfway across the country to a friend of mine that I thought was a friend. Unfortunately, this person I had trusted for years, when a lot of this stuff started going on, I thought maybe it was my wife trying to just divorce me, something simple like that. And we did some bait tech messages. It looked kind of like we were being inappropriate with each other, just to see if we can get a reaction out of my wife. Her spouse knew about it too, and again, that was very naive of my to do. I had some stuff done and said, and it really looked good. Then my wife didn't bite, so we kind of left it at that. I told her that we had made bait text and videos in September, and it just never came of anything. So November, we were in Florida. We go across the country, halfway across the country, hang out with my friend that I thought I could trust, who did these bait videos and text with me. And I thought we would be okay. I didn't feel like we were being crazy followed there. I didn't feel 100% safe, but I felt better. Then my wife had to go back home and take care of some stuff for work. And the person I thought I could trust started having issues with her husband, supposedly, but I don't even believe this was real. And we ended up going to a hotel with our children. My wife knew about it. Everything should have been okay. The fight they had, the husband almost flipped a chair over on their little girl. It was bad news. I didn't want to be in that house. Again, I would never cause harm to anybody, especially children. I mean, that's crazy talk. So we were over there hanging out for a while, and I felt like certain things were going on there that, as I read now, could have been set up to try and get me to do something dumb or commit a crime or something like that. However, I was fortunate enough not to fall victim to that. However, this person I thought I could trust was really trying to have sex with me like it was her job, and it probably was at the time. She also had told me in the months prior that she had gotten a new phone and she needed to redo these videos. So we did one, and they were really good, to be honest. Like, if my wife had showed me that, I would have been like, holy cow, you definitely did it with that dude. But it was completely false. The woman is not even attractive. No offense, like, not my type, I shouldn't say. She could be attractive to somebody else, but not me. And I don't know, it was just really hurtful to know why this stuff was being done. So I had told my wife, who was back home, hundreds of miles away, and my son and I ended up leaving. We had to borrow some cash, which we still owe a friend of ours $400, or I guess we gave him $150 back, but we have to take care of that too. I ended up getting back home, and things just weren't good. Things were still really bad there, and they just got worse. So from December to January, things were just intensifying with the following, the cars passing the house, things like that. It was getting really bad. The hand signals, the gestures, just everywhere I went. It was crazy. And I really started fearing for my life. So by January 31st, like I mentioned in my video earlier, I did call the police. We thought somebody was on our property trespassing, possible theft. And I was grateful. Yes? I was grateful to get out of that hospital situation alive. I ended up going back to a state that was only a few states away. And unfortunately, everything followed me this time. I was there for a day, I think. And I took off, went back home, told my wife this isn't cool. And from that point on, we've been kind of traveling state to state, trying to find somewhere safe to land. Unfortunately, we haven't found somewhere very safe. This has followed us everywhere I went. The more I'm reading, the more I'm getting concerned about different things like poisoning and stuff like that. So it has certainly become pretty scary to know a lot of this is going on. And sorry about that. Something weird's going on my phone. But I don't know. I just kind of wanted to elaborate a little bit more on what's going on and start to get my story out there, because it is pretty scary. I'm pretty sure like a lot of my family and friends believe some of this slander and whatever's going on, and it's really disheartening to me. And I don't know. I guess my wife or somebody needs some help, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video short. But definitely to be continued. The community has been great. Listening and reading and seeing I'm not the only one in this has been definitely helpful, because I know I would never harm myself or anybody else, and it's kind of scary to think that people want me to die, and it's really, really, really upsetting. I just hope I'm not being poisoned. I hope that things are okay, and I do get out of this, that it is just in the harassment stage, and it stays that way. But I do know I deserve to live. I got I want to right some wrongs, some stupid things. I mean, I didn't appreciate a lot of my family and some stuff like that. I mean, I am woke, though. I mean, my eyes are wide open. I've never done anything criminal. I've never done anything so terrible to warrant this. If I did, if I was a drug dealer or a pimp or, I don't know, something that could have brought this on me, honestly, I would try and take my lumps as man up and take them. But I don't deserve this. I did nothing wrong, other than kind of check out of life a little bit. I definitely could have been more appreciative. I used to have a problem when I was a kid lying. So I've told some stupid stories, and I know I've probably pissed off a former employer, my sister, things that I just shouldn't have done, just stupid crap. But that's what it was, stupid crap. And I would love to come clean and be honest. I mean, the last 2 years, I haven't really lied about anything. I was trying to be a good example for my son, and part of the reason why I was an easy target, so to speak, because I just didn't give a care anymore. I just was kind of going through the motions. And I don't know. This is a life lesson to appreciate what you have, but I just hope that's what it is, because I did, in my research, kind of see some life insurance policies out there on me, and that's kind of scary, because somebody might want to collect, so to speak. But I'm doing what I can to stay ahead. And hopefully in the next couple weeks, my wife had lost her job, and she was the breadwinner of the family. Hopefully we can get out somewhere a little safer, somewhere that it's just her, myself, and my son. And I can really start to rebuild and follow through, because that's another thing I was terrible at, was my follow through. I used to be super dependable, and just throughout the years, I lost my mom, and it's not a good excuse, but it just kind of, little by little, I was getting mad at life. And you know what? I'm learning life's what you make of it, and I'm ready to live it again. I used to be so happy and enjoy everything, and I lost that. I definitely lost that, and trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, because I thought that's what you needed to do. But it's certainly not what you need to do in life. You need to appreciate what you have, no matter what it is. And I hope I'm just given a lot more time to do so. God bless.